Okay, so let's get started again with the next question. So this question is a case study type question from this chapter itself. So this is the last question I'll do from this chapter. Over here. Okay, so this is the case, Aman Limited. Again, the fourth question is not relevant for us because MIRR has not been covered in class. So for only these first three questions we'll be covering. So this is a little bit bigger case because there are three projects. So let's quickly get started. You can again take a screenshot if you want and try it on your own. So it says Aman Limited is a leading manufacturer of automotive components. It supplies original equipment manufacturer as well as replacement market. Okay. Its projects typically have a short life and it introduces new projects periodically. You have recently joined Aman Limited as a financial analyst. He has provided you the following information about project ABC. Project A is an extension of the business line. Its cash flow will decrease over time. Project B is a new project. Building a market share will take time, hence the cash flow will increase over time. You can see this. The first one decreases over time, the next one is increasing over time. And project C is concerned with sponsoring a pavilion at a trade fair, which entails cost initially, but will reap huge benefits in year one. However, there will be some cost to be incurred to raise the pavilion. Some cost to raise the pavilion. Okay, so again, there's some cost in year two. Now, Ravi believes that all three projects have risk characteristics similar to the average risk of the firm, and the cost of capital is 12% will apply to them. You have been asked to prepare a report for the executive committee covering the following things: payback period, discounting payback period, find the payback period and the discounted payback period for project A and B. Okay, what is the net present value? What are the properties of net present value is not required to calculate the net present value of project ABC, internal rate of return, and what are the problems with IRR. Again, this I'm not covering the theoretical questions. I hope you can cover that yourself. You can read the text in this PDF and figure that out. Okay, so again, it's a very similar question to the earlier question that I done 11.9. Let's get started. Again, just to make it simple, I'll just capture all the details. Make sure I'm sharing the screen. Yeah. Now let's go to Excel. Yeah. Let me paste this copy. Paste over here. Now let me just quickly copy the project A, project B, project C. Year 0, 1, 2, 3. Negative 15,000, 11,000, 1,000, 1,000, 3,500, 8,000, 13,000. Last one is again negative 15,000, 42,000, and 4,000 negative. Make sure you copy all these figures correctly, otherwise it will just mess up your project details. Okay, so the first thing that I need to do is Ravi Sharma believes that the cost of three projects is 12% cost of capital. So firstly is the payback period and discounted payback period. So for payback period and discounted period, what I'll do is split this table into three parts. I'll delete these. I'm just trying to do it quickly to save time. So, okay. So for the discounted payback period, I need the cumulative cash flow. So cumulative cash flow is again for year one, it will be 11,000. For year two, it will be 11,000 plus 7,000 and so on. Copy this, paste it here and here. So I only need this for A and B. So I'm not doing it for C. So I know that my initial cash outflow is 15,000. So it's somewhere between year 1 and 2 that it's getting payback. So payback, so equal to, so I know it's somewhere between 1 and 2. So it will be 1 point something. So I'll take 1 plus what is my cash flow that I require. So the required cash flow is 15,000 minus 11,000. So I need 4,000 more. So that is equal to, bracket open, 15,000. So I had done this in the previous question. So maybe I'll do it in that way. So base here is 1. Incremental cash flow required. So incremental cash flow and then cash flow in year 1. Incremental cash flow is how much? 15,000 equal to 15,000 minus 11,000, and cash flow in year 1, in year 2, sorry, should be year 2 is 7,000. So my payback is equal to 1 plus this divided by this is 1.57 something. Now for the second year, in the same way, what I do is, what is my base here? So I'm investing 15,000, and see the base here should be somewhere between 2 and 3. I'll just copy this again. Copy. Okay, so you can see over here 15,000 is getting recovered somewhere after year 2. So my base here is 2. Incremental cash flow is equal to 15,000 minus this one, and cash flow in year 3 would be, in year 3 is 13,000. So my payback period will be 2 plus 3,500 divided by 13,000. So it's 2.269231. So this is my payback period for both the sums. So if you are still confused regarding this one, I would suggest go and see the sum that I did for 11.9. There I've explained in more detail. But I hope this should be clear. Now for the second question, it says that find the payback period and discounted payback period. For the discounted payback period, what you do is basically, again, you take the discounting factor. So firstly, I have to add another row, PVIF. Okay, so PVIF is what? Equal to, let's take the discounting rate. Is it given? 12%. Okay, so 12% is given. So what I do is basically equal to 1 plus 12%. Fix, use F4 to fix that. Put it in brackets, and then to the power minus this. Okay, now if you just drag it down, it should work. Copy that to this one because it's the same rate. Again, PVIF, discounted cash flow, and then cumulative cash flow again. Copy this again, paste it over here, space. Okay, discounted cash flow is nothing equal to this one into. Okay, so ignore the year 0 for now because that will come during the NPV calculation. And again, cumulative would be, so this is how I would solve in the exam, given that we already have the formulas here. It's the same formula over here. So equal to this one, and then this is equal to this plus this. Okay, but if you're not used to using Excel so much, you can obviously try and make sure that whatever formulas you're using, you can just verify it once and go a little slower. That way the chances of making mistakes is lower. Okay, so again, for this one, my base here, I'll just copy this again. Okay, so my base year again is in this case it's getting recovered somewhere between year 1 and 2. So 15,000 is getting recovered in year 2. So base year is still 1. What is my incremental cash flow? Incremental cash flow is equal to 15,000 minus 98, this one. So this, and cash flow in year 2 is this. So equal to this one. Actually, because of the formula being copied, it directly became the same, but don't do this, because sometimes the base year changes, then your formula will give an incorrect result. So again, you can see because of the discounting, the payback increased from 1.57 to 1.93. Okay. Again, another thing, when calculating the discounted cash flow for when calculating the discounted cash flow, don't use the PVIF into this cumulative cash flow, because that will give you an incorrect result. Try and use this separately. So equal to 11,000 into this. So C4 into E4, and then calculate the cumulative cash flow. If you do the 11,000 into this and 18,000 into this, you're not keeping the correct result. So don't do it that way. Okay, so let's copy this again and paste it over here. Okay, so again for this one, you can see that 15,000 was my initial cash outlay. So 15,000 is getting recovered somewhere between 2 and 3. So my base here would be 2, and this would be incremental cash flow is 15,000 minus this between 2 and 3, and my cash flow in year 3 is this. Okay, and so my payback period is coming to 2.59. I hope this part is clear. It should be clear because it's similar to the previous questions that I've done. So if you want a more detailed solution, you can go to the 11.9. Okay, so these are the payback periods. Again, you can see the payback period will always increase because of discounting. Okay, so this is the first question, the first part done. Payback period, discounted payback period, and the payback period and discounted project A and B. Okay, what is NPV? What are property? Calculate the NPV of project ABC. Okay, now to calculate the NPV of project ABC, I already have the discounted cash flows. So I'll just do this again. Paste the cash flows over here. PVIF also you can directly paste. Copy, paste. Equal to 1 equal to bracket open 1 plus this to the power this. Now how to fix it? D13 F4. Okay. Minus. So you can see the PVIF. I hope this part is clear. What I basically done is 1 plus 12% to the power minus 0. So 1 minus 0, minus 1, minus 2. So instead of writing 1 by 1 plus, I am writing 1 to the power minus. I hope this part is clear. Otherwise, you can do it on the calculator and directly put the values over here. Okay. Otherwise, what you can actually do, it will be a lot easier. Is instead of using 1.12, you can write 1. Instead of 0.12, you can directly write 1.12. And then you can do equal to this to the power. So this fix it and then put power minus this. So in that way, it's a lot easier to do. Just put equal to that to the power minus this. Okay, so now I'll calculate the discounted cash flow. So discounted cash flow equal to this into this down, and then I've calculated the discounted inflow and outflow both. So when I take the sum of this, it will come to the total NPV. So NPV is equal to this. So how did I calculate this in one step? So basically alt and then equal to, it will give you the sum, right? Now basically what I'll do is I'll just copy this one and change the cash flows. That way I'll just get my discounted cash flow as this value. And again for project C, copy, paste, and then copy the cash flows for project C. Copy this, paste it here, and you can see that this is, since there's no cash flow in 3, so this is 0. So you can see that the NPV for the first year, for the first project is 3818.33. NPV for the second project is 3755, and the NPV for the last project is 19311, which is best. So the question asks me what is the NPV of ABC, so I know the NPV values. What is the internal rate of return? So to calculate the internal rate of return, it's easy. You can just write IRR equal to, and then IRR bracket open, and then take all the cash flows and comma guess. So if you want to put any guess values, you can put it. Otherwise, if you don't put it, that also is fine. Okay. So even if you just put the values, we'll give you the value as 29%. So just copy this, paste it over here, paste it over here. It should work. So you can see that the most IRR is in the third one, which is 170%. And this is 23%, this is 29%, which is in line with the NPV because you're using the same rate. In fact, in respect of the rate, it would work. Okay. Okay. So this is given. Now your cost of capital is 12%. So that's why if the cost of capital is 12% and your IRR is 29%, it's worth investing. Okay. Now I'll just show you one thing. So if in case I change this one to 1.29, the NPV should come to 0. It's not coming to 0. It's a very fractional change. Actually, this entire thing, it's a, if you increase the, it's 28.83 whatever. So 1.288345. So you see, it's coming to 0 almost. So because of the fraction, it was coming to -30. Otherwise, basically at the IRR level, your NPV would come to 0. Okay. So that's the second question done. What else is there? What is the IRR? We have done it. Done. What is modified IRR? So modified IRR is nothing related here, so we won't do that part. I hope these 3 parts are clear. I'll again share the Excel sheet of all the 3. So 11.9, 11.7, 11 mini case. I'll share all these Excel sheet together. Okay. So I hope you like the video. And now I'll move to the next chapter, which is the projection of cash flows. Okay. So yeah, I hope you watch the video, and I hope it's not too late. Probably you can watch it before you go to sleep or in the morning. So bye.